sometimes I'll get questions where someone will tell me, I feel so bad on detox. And this is a really important thing to note, because sometimes people will say, I just gotta push through it. Like, it's fine, push through it. I don't necessarily agree. That phase one, that wide part of the funnel, sometimes when people start promoting detox, they get a lot of those toxins that get dumped into the wide part of the funnel. And remember, those are more inflammatory. They're free radicals, they're more oxidative. And the person can feel really crappy if they don't have the proper support, that phase 2 and that phase 3 support to move everything through. So I often say, if you're doing a detox and you feel headache, fatigue, just yucky, it's not necessarily good to push through it. It's I joke and say, it's like, no one, drinks a few bottles of wine, they put too much in the top part of the funnel, and then the next day they feel terrible and they're like, wow, I detoxed. Like, no, you didn't. Your body couldn't keep up with the detox, and so your body ended up getting stuck with it and you felt terrible. So in those scenarios, you really want to take a step back and look at, how do you support the pathways that we've just talked about. But sometimes a detox is really slow, and I'm a big fan of everyday detox, doing things to promote detox on a daily basis, not necessarily doing like one detox every 10 years. There's just too much of an environmental load. It's not going to get us where we want to go. So taking a step here for a second and looking at the different ways that we can decrease exposure. So number one is water. We can filter our water. One of my favorite resources is Environmental Working Group, or EWG.org. You can choose your water utility servicer, and they will tell you which contaminants that are in your water, and then you can use that to buy the most appropriate filter for you. With drought, at least here in California, with drought restrictions, it doesn't really make sense to do a whole house reverse osmosis anymore, because it's like 4 gallons of water to generate 1 gallon of RO water. So really just putting a filter on your kitchen sink or your showers or the water that you drink is important. The second exposure would be air. The air we breathe has toxins, especially if you live in a city, or even in California here, we have had the fires. So my favorite air purifier is IQ Air, but there's other air purifiers out there. And you should also know that a HEPA air purifier is going to filter pollen, dust, some bacteria, mold, pet dander, things like that. But you need to have a activated carbon filter. There's a separate air purifier if you're looking to filter particles that are as small as 0.3 microns, like viruses or smoke or VOCs, gases, things like that. So a HEPA is great for like allergens, but getting a HEPA with a activated carbon filter will filter out more of the chemicals in our air. And there's also apps that you can go on to look at your air quality and look at the particulate counts in the air to know how toxic is your air. So then we come to our food. And food, I also love Environmental Working Group because they have a great guide to reduce pesticides called, it's the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So it tells you the fruits and veggies that have the least amount of pesticides, and the Dirty Dozen, which are the 12 fruits and veggies that are highest in pesticide levels. So it gives you a good resource to, hey, maybe you can't do everything organic, but which ones are best for you to try to limit those pesticides on your food. And then for our body products, there is a website called Skin Deep. It's a database that rates how clean your products are, and the app actually has a barcode that you can scan and look up how toxic something is, or whether it has things that are potentially toxic to your body. So if you're not sure, that's like a really easy way to start minimizing what we put on our skin. Our skin absorbs everything. We put medications on our skin to get them absorbed through the body. So the compounds, the cosmetic solutions that you put on your skin, it's going in as well. And then lastly is our home. Our home is a big source of toxins. So looking at a lot of furniture that's manufactured will have fire retardants, it'll have high amounts of chemicals. And so looking at that is a big piece, or even making sure that your home doesn't have high amounts of EMFs or even things like mold and mycotoxins, which can really put a big environmental burden on your body.